Welcome to this explainer. Close your eyes for just a second. Imagine you've just arrived in the world. You're a brand new human being. The lights, incredibly bright. The air, surprisingly cold. Literally every single sensation is entirely new to you. You're right in the middle of what's known as the fourth trimester. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore the breathtaking science of exactly what is happening inside your mind right now.
86 billion. Now, what's really interesting about this is that massive number is the exact amount of neurons, or brain cells, you have at the very moment of your birth. Basically, you arrive with nearly all the brain cells you'll ever have. But here's the catch. What you don't yet have is the wiring between them. Your entire job in this first year of life is to wire these cells together into circuits. Circuits for seeing, hearing, moving, feeling, and eventually talking. And the electricians doing all that wiring? Well, your everyday experiences. Every snuggle, every song, every time you feel the weight of a wooden spoon, it literally fires connections.
Section 1, welcome to the fourth trimester.
Because you're so incredibly new, your first few weeks of life are often called the fourth trimester. You're essentially still gestating, right? Only now you're doing it outside the womb. You aren't quite ready for the big wide world yet, so your whole developmental job right now isn't academic learning, it's purely about regulation. You're working so hard just to manage your body temperature, your hunger, your sleep cycles, and this overwhelming flood of new sensations hitting your nervous system all at once. And speaking of sensations, let's look at how you perceive this overwhelming new world. Your vision is kind of blurry, only truly coming into sharp focus about 8 to 12 inches away. Nature is just brilliant here because that is the exact distance to the face of the person feeding you. Beautifully contrasted with this blurry vision is your hearing, which is incredibly sharp from day one. In fact, it was tuning itself before you were even born. You already recognize and deeply prefer your mother's voice and the soothing rhythm of the language you heard while you were still in the womb.
Because your vision operates in that really tight 8 to 12-inch window, you're naturally drawn to high-contrast black and white shapes, and above all else in the universe, human faces. If someone slowly sticks out their tongue at you, you might even try to study them and imitate it. Physically, you know you don't have much control over your limbs yet. You're mostly just winging it. Your movements are dominated by involuntary survival reflexes. You automatically grasp a finger placed in your palm. You root around looking for food. And you have that classic startle reflex when you hear a loud noise or feel a sudden change in movement.
Section 2, the serve and return game.
So how do those 86 billion neurons actually get wired together? It happens through what researchers at Harvard Center on the Developing Child call the serve and return game. In fact, this is the most important game you're ever going to play in your entire life. It's like a tennis rally. You serve the ball. Maybe you let out a little cry, make a babbling sound, or reach for something. Then your caregiver returns it. They look at what you're focused on, they smile back, they copy your sound, or they gently pick you up and name the thing you're looking at. Oh, you see the dog, they might say. Then they wait, giving you time to respond and serve again. This back-and-forth conversational turn-taking is astonishingly powerful. It physically builds the circuits in your brain's language centers. It's the turn-taking itself, the contingent response, that does the heavy lifting here, not just hearing a television or passive talking.
Right now in month 1, you are what scientists call a universal listener. You are literally able to distinguish the sounds of every single human language on Earth. You're like a little scientist, constantly running miniature statistical experiments, tracking how often sounds appear together to carve the stream of speech into actual words. By around 6 months, your brain is going to undergo a process called neural commitment. It'll tune itself strictly to the languages you hear most often in your daily life, sharpening those native sounds while quietly pruning away the unused connections.
What this all means is that you don't need a special curriculum, expensive flashcards, or fancy materials. You learn through relationship, repetition, and real-world experience. Everyday routines are your classroom. If someone talks to you, sings to you, or simply narrates a diaper change or a walk around the neighborhood out loud, they're acting as a zero-cost language lab for your developing mind. It's that steady, loving loop of noticing you and answering you that literally builds your brain.
Let's move to Section 3, reaching your first milestones, and see how this builds.
As we fast forward just slightly in your journey, all this invisible brain wiring starts to produce some magical, visible results. These are some of the beautiful early physical and social achievements you might show by the end of your second month. You start to calm down when spoken to. You begin making adorable cooing sounds instead of just crying all the time. You can briefly hold your surprisingly heavy head up during tummy time. But the most massive developmental leaps for your growing brain are social. You begin to hold eye contact briefly, really studying the faces you love. And then, around 6 to 8 weeks, you flash your very first, true, intentional social smile. It is a profound moment of connection.
But it is absolutely crucial to remember that the ranges for these milestones are incredibly wide. They just describe what about 75% of babies do by a certain age. Every single baby develops on their own unique timeline. So these milestones, they're just gentle guideposts. They are absolutely not a strict test that you can fail. Earlier or later is usually perfectly normal.
Section 4. A safe place to sleep.
Now, as much as we love talking about your rapidly growing brain, during this overwhelming first month, your most critical need is physical safety. This is non-negotiable. For every single sleep, you must be placed on your back on a firm, flat surface that is completely clear of pillows, crib bumpers, or loose blankets. Think of it as the ABCs of safe sleep: alone, on your back, in a clear crib. And remember how we mentioned holding your head up earlier? Tummy time is incredibly important for building that neck and shoulder strength, but it is strictly for supervised, awake play only, never, ever for sleep. Beyond just physical safety, your nervous system desperately needs comfort, and one of the best ways to find it is through skin-to-skin contact. Laying on a caregiver's bare chest or receiving gentle infant massage works absolute wonders. Because you're still acting as an extension of the person holding you, that skin contact physically regulates your tiny, overwhelmed nervous system right alongside theirs. It promotes better sleep, deeper calm, and intense bonding.
Section 5. The person you were teaching. We've spent this explainer looking through your eyes, experiencing the fascinating first month from the perspective of a newborn. But as we wrap up this incredible physical and mental journey, consider this really profound thought. When a caregiver responds to your cries, when they feed you because you're hungry or soothe you because you're overwhelmed, they are teaching you the absolute deepest lesson of infancy: my needs will be met. This isn't a passive stage. This responsiveness is the curriculum. It's the seedbed of secure attachment and what psychologists call basic trust. You cannot be spoiled by being responded to too much.
And here is the real truth of it all. Step out of the newborn's shoes for a second. You aren't the baby. This explainer, this is about the baby you're holding right now. You are the caregiver. You're the external regulator, the steady heartbeat, the warm chest, and the familiar voice that tells them the world is safe. You hold the extraordinary power to physically wire the brain of this brand new human being simply by responding to them.
So, knowing that every single diaper change, every walk, and every gentle response to a cry is actively building their 86 billion neurons into a lifetime of trust and language, I'll leave you with this. How will you connect with them today? Take a moment, look into those blurry little eyes, and start the most important conversation of their life.